press the bell icon on the YouTube app and never miss another update.
Good afternoon, everybody. With new spirit in the new room. So, today we are going to discuss skeletal system. We are discussing locomotion and movement, and locomotion is that part where human beings move from one place to another place, and the muscle action requires a signal from the CNS, right? So, the neural system, the skeletal system, and the muscular system all together makes about the movement or the locomotion. Particularly, locomotion is brought about by the coordination of these three systems, that is the neural system, the skeletal system, and the muscular system. And we have studied about the mechanism of the skeletal muscles, and these skeletal muscles are attached to the skeleton, right? So there's a need to study about the skeleton. Now let us look into the human skeleton. See, I'm not going to write the diagrams. If you want the diagrams, I'll come with diagrams, because neat part, they have omitted the diagrams. They are concentrating only on the theoretical part, and no figures are given and asked you to find out the labelings. All that is gone these days. They're not giving any questions like that. That has been eliminated. If you want the figures, I'll come with the figures. No, we'll look into the uh, plastic skeleton and try to understand the parts. That's also fine for me. Whatever you want, I'll come with that. Plastic skeleton will get next class. Fine, it's okay for everybody. Okay, I'll get it from the lab so that we'll look into all the parts. So to start with, the skeletal system. So human skeleton, we have both endoskeleton and exoskeleton, right? So we are particularly speaking here about the endoskeleton, which is made up of bones and cartilage. So bone and cartilage both are specialized type of connective tissues. They are specialized type of connective tissues. Bone, also called as the osseous tissue, and cartilage you have studied under the special type of connective tissue, where we look into the outermost, the matrix called as chondrin, and that matrix contains so many chondriatic salts, isn't it? So this skeletal system comprises of two important tissues. One is the bone and the other is the cartilage. So bone is hard and brittle, right? Bone is hard and brittle, and the matrix is made up of calcium salts. It is made up of calcium salts. Whereas cartilage is soft and flexible. So the tip of the nose is made up of cartilage. The ear pinna is made up of cartilage. So it is soft and flexible. It is almost pliable or flexible, it is called as, and it contains the chondrin, or the matrix contains chondriatin salts. It contains chondriatin salts. So when compared to the bone, cartilage is soft and flexible, whereas bone is hard and brittle. Brittle means it can easily be broken. You might have seen, if you felt, if somebody falls down very hardly, they may very hard, they may undergo air crack or fractures or different kinds of fractures. So that is, the skeletal system is made up of the bone and cartilage. So we are supposed to study what is the function of this skeleton. Is there any need that man should have an endoskeleton which is made up of bone and cartilage? Obviously, we are studying skeletal muscles. The skeletal muscles require an area for attachment, and it is the skeleton. So the skeleton is providing the space for attachment of muscles, is the foremost function which we can write here. So skeletal muscles attached to the skeleton. Secondly, the skeleton is giving a proper shape and size or structure to our body, right? So we have a proper erect structure That is because of the skeleton. That you can call it as the posture. We can call it as the posture. If you can imagine, ನಾವೇನಾದ್ರೂ imagine ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳಕ್ಕಾಗತ್ತಾ ನೋಡಿ, ನಮ್ಮ ಬಾಡಿ ಏನಾದ್ರೂ ನೆಟ್ಟಗೆ ಸ್ಟ್ರೈಟ್ ಆಗಿ ನಿಂತಿದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ that is because of this endoskeleton. Otherwise ನಮ್ಮ ಬಾಡಿ ಏನಾಗಿರ್ತಿತ್ತು, ಎಂಡೋಸ್ಕೆಲಿಟನ್ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂದಿದ್ರೆ ಮಾಂಸದ ಮುದ್ದೆ ತರ ನೆಲದ ಮೇಲೆ ಬಿದ್ದಿರ್ತಿತ್ತು. So right, so it is giving the mechanical support, it is providing the mechanical support. See, human body is made up of so many systems. We have the digestive system, the respiratory system, the neural system, endocrine system. All these systems are highly consist of vital organs. We have vital organs like the lungs, the heart, the brain. All of them are protected by the bony cases. For example, the heart and the lungs are protected by the rib cage, and the brain is covered by the brain box or the skull. So it is providing protection. It is giving protection to the vital organs. So like this, we have so many functions. We can list a lot of functions. The major ones are listed here. So coming back to what does the, how many bones are there in this human skeletal system and how it is divided. So the human skeleton nearly consists of 206 bones in adult. 206 bones. And the skeletal system has been broadly divided into two divisions. One is called as the axial system, axial skeletal system, and the other is appendicular, and the other is appendicular skeletal system. So the whole of the skeletal system has been divided into two. That is axial system, which comprises of the main axis of the body. So main axis means from head to abdomen or the trunk, the whole portion. We call it as the main axis of the body. We call it as the axial skeleton. So appendicular skeleton, that is related with the appendages. Appendages are those segments of the body which are attached to the main axis of the body. Appendages are the segments of the body which are attached to the main axis of the body. That is particular the limbs, both our upper limbs and lower limbs, that is the hands and the legs. They are the ones which are the part of the appendicular skeleton, we can tell. So axial skeleton and appendicular skeleton. So this axial skeleton consists of nearly 80 bones, consists of nearly 80 bones, and the appendicular skeleton consists of nearly 126 bones. Axial skeleton, which comprises of the main axis of the body, and it contains 80 bones. Comprises of 80 bones, and this axial skeleton has been divided into skull, vertebral column, and sternum and rib cage. Sternum and rib cage. So the axial skeleton comprises of the upper portion, that is the anterior portion, which comprises of the skull, then the vertebral column, that is the backbone, and the sternum and rib cage. Sternum is the flat bone on the thoracic cavity, and the ribs which attach the vertebral column and the sternum, right? So these are the axial parts of the axial skeleton. Now coming to the skull. The skull comprises of nearly 22 bones. Comprises of the 22 bones. The vertebral comprises of 26 bones. Here, sternum and rib cage, it comprises of 25 bones. So rib cage, ribs, 12 pairs, plus sternum, plus 1, that is sternum, 12 pairs, which counts for 24 bones, and 1 sternum, which is equal to 25. So skull has got 22 bones, vertebral column 26 bones, and the sternum and rib cage has got 12 pairs of bones plus one sternum, right? So these are the number of bones in the axial skeleton. Additions are there. Let us discuss that later. So now coming to the skull. The bones of the skull have been divided once again into two types. One is called as the bones of the skull are divided into, one is the facial bones and the other is the cranial bones. Cranial bones. So the skull is also called as the brain box or the cranium. The skull is also called as the brain box or the cranium because it protects the brain. So craniates. Craniates is the word which is referring to the organisms which have the skull. Which have the skull. So skull comprises of two types of bones. One is the cranial bones and the other is the facial bones. Cranial bones, they are 8 in number, and facial bones, they are 14 in number. Total of 22 bones in the skull. Now coming to the skull of the cranium. Bones of the cranium. So bones of the cranium, we have the bones like frontal, temporal, parietal, occipital, sphenoid, and ethmoid. So these are the bones present in the skull. The parietal are two bones and temporal are also two bones. So and the remaining are one bone. Frontal 1, temporal 2, parietal 2, occipital 1, sphenoid 1 and ethmoid 1. Total of how many bones? It is 8 bones, right? Is it? 1, 3, 5, 7, 6, 7, 8, right? So total of 8 bones: frontal, temporal, parietal, occipital, sphenoid and ethmoid are the bones of the cranium. Bones of the cranium or the cranial bones, they are referred as. Coming to the facial bones. Coming to the facial bones. So the facial bones, they are 14 in number. They are 14 in number. The first one, nasals, inferior nasal concave, mandible, maxilla, maxillae, lacrimals, then zygomatic, nasals, inferior nasal concave, mandible, maxillae, lacrimals, zygomatic, and one more is uh, omer. How many? Omer is 1, mandible is 1, and palantines and palantine. So nasals 2, inferior nasal concave 2, maxillae 2, lacrimals 2, zygomatic 2, and palantines 2. How much it is? Yes. Nasals 2 plus 2, 4, 5, 7, 9, 11, 12 plus 2, 14, right? So 14 facial bones and the bones of the cranium are 8 in number. So total of 22 bones in the skull. 22 bones in the skull. So bones of the cranium are the frontal, temporal, parietal, occipital, sphenoid and ethmoid. And the bones of the facial bones, the facial bones, that is in on the face region you have nasals, which are related with the both nasal conchae and nasals, or the bones which are related with the nose, which keep the nose structure proper. So mandible, the jaw, the maxillae, the upper jaw, the lacrimals, the one which forms the eye orbits, zygomatic, vomer, palatines. So these are the different bones of the face, and total of 22 bones. So these are the 8 bones and these are the 14 bones which makes up the bones of the skull. 22 bones of the skull. And this occipital bones, they are attached to the condyles and they articulate with the vertebral column. So articulate means it attaches itself to the vertebral column on the neck region, upper neck region. So with the help of occipital bones, they articulate with the vertebral column. They articulate with the vertebral column with the help of condyles. Condyles. This is one word which is called as occipital condyles. They are referred as occipital condyles. So these are the bones of the skull. Next is, along with us, under the skull itself, we study some bones like hyoid bone. Hyoid bone, which forms the bone of the buccal cavity, which is present below the buccal cavity, and it's a single bone called as the hyoid. And along with that, we have 6 tiny bones from 2 ears. So we have 3 bones in middle ear. 3 bones in middle ear. 3 bones in the middle ear. We call it as ear ossicles. We refer it as ear ossicles. Ossicles is a word which refers to the bone. So 3 ear ossicles, the malleus, incus and stapes. So all these are the bones which are related with the skull. So skull, 22 bones, the facial bones and cranial bones, which accounts to 22. Along with that, these are additional bones which are not counted in the bones of the skull. So plus this 6 bones, because we have 2 ears, right? 2 ears with 2 middle ears with 6 bones, 6 tiny bones, 2 malleus, 2 incus and 2 stapes, and the hyoid bone, one addition. So 7 extra bones we have here, right? So how many bones we have studied? 22 plus 7. How much? 29 bones we have studied on, right? So this is about the first part of the axial skeleton. So the axial skeleton comprises of the skull, the vertebral column, the sternum and the rib cage, right? So we have studied nearly 29 bones of our body. Remaining, next going towards the second part of the axial skeleton, that is vertebral column. So the second part of the axial skeleton is the vertebral column. In common language, you call it as the backbone, right? The backbone, the long backbone which extends from the neck region towards the seat position, is made up of tiny bones. Is made up of tiny bones. Each of it is called as vertebrae. Each tiny bone is referred as vertebrae, right? And there are 26 vertebrae which are serially arranged, which are serially arranged in the vertebral column, which are serially arranged in the vertebral column. So they are tiny bones. This vertebral column has got many functions. One, it supports the head. It supports the head, right? So it is providing the surface, or it is providing the space for back muscles, muscles of the back, extensor muscles we call. ನಮ್ಮ ಬೆನ್ನಿನ ಮಸಲ್ಸ್ ಗಳನ್ನ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸಾರ್ ಮಸಲ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಆ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸಾರ್ ಮಸಲ್ಸ್ ಗಳ ಅಟ್ಯಾಚ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಗೆ ಸ್ಪೇಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಪ್ರೊವೈಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ನಮ್ಮ ವರ್ಟಿಬ್ರಲ್ ಕಾಲಮ್, ರೈಟ್? ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಸಪೋರ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ದ rib cage. It is also supporting the rib cage. It is also protecting the spinal cord. It is also protecting the spinal cord. These vertebrae at the center, they have a small canal, and through this canal will pass our spinal cord. Our spinal cord passes through this canal of each vertebrae. All the 26 vertebrae, they have a small cavity in the middle, and this cavity is the space wherein the spinal cord passes from the head region towards the seat position, so which has got many spinal nerves which will enter into different parts of our body. And that spinal cord is also a very, very delicate and a vital organ of our body, which is highly protected with the help of this vertebral column. So one thing, it is supporting the head. We know that it articulates with the occipital condyles, isn't it? So it is supporting the head. Otherwise, so our head would have fallen down. It would have not been so independent, right? It would have not been rotating. So it is getting the support of the vertebral column. So it is fixed to the first bone of the vertebral column, which is called as the atlas. Atlas is the first bone of the vertebral column, and it is fit. The occipital condyles articulates with the atlas. Therefore, it supports the head. So this vertebral column is also providing the space for the extensor muscles of the back. It is also supporting the rib cage. See, the rib along with the vertebral column, along with the vertebral column, they form a cage. If there was no vertebral column, it would have not completed the structure of a cage, right? Therefore, it contributes for the rib cage and also protects the spinal cord, which is one of the vital organ. So there are 26 tiny bones which you call them as the vertebrae. And these 26 bones are divided into cervical bones, thoracic bones, lumbar bones, sacral bones, sacral and coccygeal bone. I don't know how you spell it. I spell it as coccygeal. So cervical, they are 7 in number. Thoracic, they are 12 in number. Lumbar, they are 5 in number. Sacral, 1 in number. Coccygeal, 1 in number. Sacral and coccygeal, they are formed by the fusion of small tiny bones, but we count it as 1. We count it as 1. So 12 plus 7. 7 plus 12 is 19. 19 plus 5 is 24. 25, 26. So total of 26 tiny bones which are called as the vertebrae. So cervical bones, they are the bones of the neck region. They are the bones of the neck region. We call it as cervical bones. Thoracic bones, which forms the thoracic region. So the dorsal part of the thoracic region is made up of 12 bones. And the lumbar, the upper abdomen portion, you call it as the lumbar portion, which is made up of 5 bones, 5 vertebrae. And the sacral, so below the seat, above the seat position, which bends when we sit. So that portion made up of 1 sacral bone and 1 coccygeal bone, right? So total of 26 tiny bones which are called as vertebrae, which are referred as vertebrae. So this you can put it in the form of a formula also, like C7, T12, L5, S1 and C1. So it is also easy to remember. So this can be put it in the form of a formula also, or a hint which can you easily remember the number of bones. So that is about the vertebral column. That is about the vertebral column consisting of nearly 26 bones. And now coming to the sternum and the rib cage. Third part of the exoskeleton. So we have studied skull, which comprises of 22 bones. Along with that, we have studied additional 7 bones, hyoid and ear ossicles. Along with that, we studied the bones of the vertebral column called as vertebrae. And now coming to sternum and rib cage. So the sternum is a single flat bone. It is a single bone which can be counted as one bone, which can be counted as one single bone. It is the flat bone, tie shape irutte. Tie shape bone on the ventral part of the thorax. In the mid ventral part, it's a flat bone called as the sternum, and to this sternum attaches 12 pairs of bones. Sorry, 12 nearly 7 pairs of bones. 7 pairs of bones on the ventral part, and the same all the 12 pairs. There are 12 pairs of ribs. Under that 7 pairs they directly attach to the sternum. 7 pairs they directly attach to the sternum. Then sorry, correct. So 7 pairs they directly attach to the sternum and sternum ventrally, and dorsally they are attached to the vertebral column. Dorsally they are attached to the vertebral column. So this is one single bone, and the rib cage comprises of 12 pairs of ribs. Comprises of 12 pairs of ribs. So each rib has got 2 articulation points. Each rib has got 2 articulation points, one on the ventral part and other on the dorsal part. Ventrally it is attached to the sternum, and dorsally it is attached to the vertebral column. So it has got 2 points of articulation, and hence they are called as bicephalic. So these 12 pairs, among the 12 pairs of ribs, 7 pairs are directly attached to the sternum on the ventral region, and they are attached to the vertebral column dorsally, right? And they are referred as true ribs. They are referred as true ribs. So there are 3 pairs of bones, 3 pairs of ribs, which attach to the 7th pair of the rib. Ventrally they attach to the 7th pair. Ventrally they attach to the 7th pair of the rib, and dorsally they attach to the vertebral column. And these are called as pseudo ribs, or they are also referred as false ribs. They are also referred as false ribs, or they are also called as vertebrochondrial bones. Chondrial ribs. So the first 7 pairs, ventrally they are attached to the sternum, dorsally they are attached to the vertebral column. The next 3 pairs, ventrally they are attached to the 7th pair of the sternum and dorsally they are attached to the vertebral column. Hence they are called as false ribs. Right? Hence they are called as false ribs. And 2 more ribs, 2 more pairs, they just hang from the vertebral column. Backsidally, they just hang from the vertebral column and they never come ventrally. They never move to the ventral part of our body. They just hang over from the vertebral column and they are called as floating ribs. They are called as floating ribs. So total of 12 pairs of ribs. So the 12 pairs of ribs are broadly classified into true ribs, pseudo ribs or the false ribs, and the floating ribs. True ribs are those which are ventrally attached to the sternum and dorsally attached to the vertebral column. False ribs are those which are attached to the 7th pair of the rib ventrally and dorsally to the vertebral column. And the floating ribs are the one which just hang down from the vertebral column dorsally. So these 7 pairs of ribs which are attached to the sternum ventrally and to the vertebral column dorsally, they form a cage-like structure. So hence the name rib cage. So front you have one flat bone which is called as the sternum. The ribs from the sternum move towards the vertebral column like this. Laterally they move like this towards the dorsal region, all the 7 pairs. So it forms a box-like or a cage-like structure which you call it as the rib cage. Hence the name sternum and rib cage. So once again, they are also protecting the vital organs like the heart and the lungs. The lungs and heart are highly protected with the help of this rib cage. Whenever there is some accident, first, if this the thorax part is directly injured, there will be damage to the ribs and then to the lungs or the heart, isn't it? So they provide protection to the vital organs. So there will be several NEET questions based on this. The word bicephalic, do remember that. Based on this, pseudo ribs, false ribs, floating ribs, based on this, there will be several questions. So take care of what should be answered for this. Sternum is one flat bone on the ventral part, the mid thoracic line of the ventral part of the body. That is about the sternum and the rib cage. So we have studied axial skeleton, all the 80 bones. I think 80 bones, sir. So 22 from skull. Skull contributing 22 bones. So vertebral column contributing 26. So sternum and rib cage contributing 24 plus 1, 25. How much? Yes, 5 plus 3. Sorry, 8 plus 5. 73 plus 6 bones, ear ossicles, 1 hyoid. Right? So it is 80 bones. 80 bones of the axial skeleton. Right? So these are the bones of the axial skeleton. Skull, vertebral column, and sternum and rib cage. Now coming to the appendicular skeleton. Appendicular skeleton. So the appendicular skeleton or the appendages which are attached to the main axis of the body. So usually the limbs are attached to the main axis of the body. These limbs are attached to the main axis of the body with the help of girdles. Anything you want to say? ಸಾಕಂದ್ರ class. Anything? ಏನು ಹೇಳಕ್ಕಿಲ್ವಾ ನಂಗೆ? You have nothing to tell me? Shall we stop the class? We'll continue. Yeah. Appendicular skeleton, right? Appendicular skeleton comprises of ಎಷ್ಟು bones? 126 bones. So this comprises of the limbs. One is the limbs, and these limbs are attached to the main axis of the body with the help of girdles. With the help of girdles. So under limbs we have upper limbs and the lower limbs. Upper limbs and the lower limbs. The upper limbs also called as hands in human body, and the lower limbs also called as legs in human body, right? So girdles attach these upper limbs and lower limbs to the main axis of the body. There are two girdles. One is the pectoral girdle and the other is the pelvic girdle. And the other is the pelvic girdle, right? So pectoral girdle forms the shoulder framework of the body. The pelvic girdle forms the abdominal framework of the body, right? So pectoral girdle will attach the upper limbs to the main axis of the body. Both the hands are attached to the main axis of the body with the help of this pectoral girdle. Both the legs are attached to the main axis of the body with the help of the pelvic girdles, right? So first we'll start with the limbs. So we have two hands and two legs, right? We have two hands and two legs, or two upper limbs and two lower limbs. So let us take account of the bones in each limb. So each limb consists of 30 bones into 4. Why? How many limbs we have? 4 limbs, right? 2 upper and 2 lower, and each limb comprises of 30 bones, and it will account for 120 bones, right? We have already studied how many bones? 80 bones. 80 plus 120. We have not yet studied 120, miss. Let us list it out. Okay. So the upper leg comprises of bone, right? Starting from the shoulder region, this part of the bone will take. So what are they called as? Upper bone, upper limb, humerus, radius, ulna, carpals, metacarpals, phalanges. Humerus 1, radius 1, ulna 1, carpals 8, metacarpals 5, phalanges 14. Something wrong? Nothing wrong. So 3 plus 8, 11, 11 plus 5, 16, 16 plus 4, 20, 2 carry plus 1, so 30 bones of the limbs, right? Humerus, the bone which continues from the shoulder part, this bone, you call it as the humerus bone. This portion is made up of 2 bones, the radius and the ulna. the long bones of the limbs. So they are in two portions. So one portion is the radius and the other is the ulna. The carpals, they are also referred as wrist bones. They are also referred as wrist bones. Carpals, metacarpals, they are also referred as palm bones of the palm or palm bones. Phalanges, they are nothing but the bones of the digits or fingers. If it is upper limb, it will be fingers. Right? Humerus, one bone. Radius, one bone. Ulna, one bone. Carpal, 8 bones. Metacarpals, 5 bones. And phalanges, they are 14 in number. Right? Which will account for 30 bones. So I told each limb consists of 30 bones, right? So this is upper limb. We have two upper limbs and we have two humerus, two radius, two ulna, two carpals. Sorry, two ulna. How many carpals? 16 carpals, 10 metacarpals and 28 phalanges. Total of 60 bones from the upper limb. Next, coming to the lower limb. Hold on. Coming to lower limb. Yes, the strongest bone, femur. Yes. Next, tibia, fibula. ಬಹಳ ನಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರಲ್ಲ ಯಾಕೆ ಇವತ್ತು? Patella, not patella, it is patella. Femur, tibia, fibula. Yes, tarsals, metatarsals, phalanges. Right? Femur, the strongest bone. Tibia, lower part of the limb, has got two bones, tibia and fibula. One femur, one tibia, one fibula, one patella. This is 7 metatarsals, 5 and phalanges, 14. So 9 plus 7, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 2 carry plus 30 bones, right? The difference is there they had carpals 8 ittu. Illi one is going for the knee bone, femur, tibia, fibula. This is knee bone, knee joint, sorry, knee bone, knee cap. We call it as knee cap. Knee cap we call it as patella. Tarsals are called as the ankle bones. They are called as the ankle bones. Metatarsals, they can be called as the foot bones, bones of the feet. Phalanges, they are the bones of the digits or toes. Because it is lower limb, you can call it as toes. Right? So, total of 30 bones. 2 lower limbs. How many bones? 13 to 2. 13 to 2. So it will be 60, 60, total of 120 from limbs. 120 limbs from the limbs and 80 from the axial skeleton. So we have studied, 200 bones. Where are the other 6 bones? In the girdles, right? In the girdles. In the girdles. We'll take the pectoral girdle and the pelvic girdle. The pectoral girdle has got 2 important bones. One is the scapula and the other is the clavicle. Scapula and clavicle. Clavicle is also called as the collarbone. So you can find here that bone you can feel. So that is the collarbone. We call it as clavicle. It is called as the clavicle. So we have each pectoral girdle has got 2 halves. So total it will have 4 bones. So 4 bones of the pectoral girdle, 4 bones of the pectoral girdle, 2 clavicles and 2 what? Scapula, right? From the pectoral girdle. The pelvic girdle is made up of one big bone which is called as coxal bone, which is called as coxa. This count is one bone, but it is made up of fusion of 3 bones. This coxal bone is made by the fusion of 3 bones: ilium, ischium and pubis. Anyhow, we count it as one bone. So each pelvic girdle has got 2 halves. There are 2 coxa bones. So 2 coxa, it will be 206 bones. Right? So these are the bones of our body. Now left over is girdles. Right? So girdles, they are very important because they provide the attachment for the appendicular skeleton and the axial skeleton are attached with the help of these girdles. Thereby they are very significant. Thereby they are very significant. Let us see how they are attached to the axial skeleton. How they form the attachment between the axial skeleton and the appendicular skeleton. To start with, the pectoral girdle. The pectoral girdle. So I told you it consists of 2 important bones. One is the scapula and the other is the clavicle. So if you see the back portion, you have one triangular bone just back to your shoulders. Triangular bone which will project out like this, right? So that bone you call it as the scapula. And this clavicle is called as the collarbone. So both of them, they are attached with the help of a flat bone called as the acromion. Acromion, a flat process which connects the 2 scapula and the clavicle, right? So, and this behind this scapula and the clavicle, we have a cavity called as the glenoid cavity. Glenoid cavity. So to this glenoid cavity, our humerus bone will go and attach. Our humerus bone, the upper part of the humerus bone will go and attach and it will get into the glenoid cavity and it will provide the attachment, or it can be called as the point of articulation, right? Point of articulation. So in the glenoid cavity, the humerus bone attaches itself to the pectoral framework, pectoral girdle. So it has got 2 halves. Each girdle has got 2 halves. The right part and the left part, both of them, they have got this glenoid cavity and our upper arms are attached to the axial skeleton. At this point, this is the point of articulation to the glenoid cavity with the help of a ball and socket joint. With the help of a ball and socket joint, the humerus bone will articulate with the glenoid cavity and thus attach the upper limb to the axial skeleton. Right? So remember this name of this cavity, it is glenoid cavity. Next, the pelvic girdle. The pelvic girdle. So it consists of a big bone called as the coxa. So it has got two halves. So there are two coxal bones, right? It has got two coxal bones, and each coxal bone is made up of three. It is formed by the fusion of three bones: ilium, ischium, and pubis. See, both the coxal bone, they join in the ventral part of the abdomen to form pubic symphysis. Right? Behind this coxal bone is the cavity which is called as acetabulum. The femur bone, the upper part of the femur bone will attach to the coxal bone at this cavity called as the acetabulum with the help of the ball and socket joint once again. With the help of ball and socket joint, this upper part of the femur will attach to the coxal bone at acetabulum, the cavity. So acetabulum and glenoid cavity, very important from your NEET aspect, right? So question will be asked based on that. Acetabulum and glenoid cavity. So this each coxa is made up of three tiny bones: ilium, ischium, and pubis, and it is counted as a single bone. ಆ ಥರ ಏನಾದರೂ tiny bones ಎಲ್ಲ ಕೌಂಟಿಗೆ ತಗೊಳಕ್ ಶುರು ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ number of bones ಇನ್ನೂ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. It will be more than 206 bones. So the major ones are counted, and this entire, both the coxa meet in the ventral part with the help of a framework which is called as the pubic symphysis. Thus, these girdles attach the axial skeleton and the appendicular skeleton. Helps in the attachment of axial skeleton and the appendicular skeleton. So, we shall end this session here. One more topic to be dealt is joints from this chapter. And after joints, we are supposed to study the disorders of the both muscular system and also the skeletal system. So much things yet to be covered. So, shall we continue or shall we? Pardon? Continue. Okay. Next, after girdles, we will go with joints. Testing bala portion ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಅಲ್ಲೇನ್ರಿ? No. Stop the test. Okay, we will end the session. Thank you.